Hey there, welcome to part 2 on what it's like for cops right now on Reddita. Link to part 1 in the description below. Video time. r/askreddit. People who work in law enforcement, what is work like right now? A cop buddy of mine quit his job. Had been coming to a head, and this felt like the right move for him as the department wasn't making changes anytime fast. Australia here. Thanks to the COVID restrictions, a lot of the regular crime was down. But then resources were needed for border closures and self-quarantine checks and other COVID related patrols, so probably same as usual. Good to say I feel for Leos in America. Whole lot of them are probably as disgusted as the public by the actions of those officers who killed GF. But they're copping the brunt of the community's anger about it. My close friend is a cop in NOLA right now. She says her day-to-day is pretty hectic because of the protests. Sort by controversial and buckle the yuck up. OP, please drop a serious tag on your post. You can't edit post jiggles. The technology is not there yet. I'm not in law enforcement, but holy frick, I hope this question gets to heart. Somebody has to do it. I love doing it. You see the people who hate us on the internet and TV, but you don't see the people who love us. They outweigh the bad and make it worth it. Nothing is more rewarding in my opinion. 7 in June myself. Best job there is. I love watching people go from automatically hating me to say, man officer, you cool. Even after I've chased down and arrested them. Anybody can have the same effect if you put your ego away. Enjoying the video? Like and subscribe. I upload every day. If you want to make sure you get notified, smash that bell. I almost just threw up in my mouth a little. Anyway, back to the video. For all the law enforcement that are reading this, there may be a lot of hate towards you right now, but some of us know well enough not to put everyone under a single umbrella. I know the majority of you are good. Stay safe. After looking at all the brutal actions taken against peaceful protesters across the nation and the crazy resistance the police unions all seem to have against any reform, I really doubt that now. Cops vote on union leaders and tons of departments just hucking hammered peaceful protesters. I honestly think the good ones are flat out outnumbered. Well, considering 100s of police and their families came out to the court in support of 2 officers in my city that nearly murdered a 75-year-old man, I have to disagree with you. These are not generally good people. If they aren't stepping in to stop their bad colleagues, then no, the majority are not good. I'm a gas station employee and I talk to local suburban cops and in an extremely white area, and I just feel bad for them. They're pretty good people and they just have a crowds of white people disrupting local traffic and yelling at them for hours. I understand more diverse areas and city cops are more problematic, but I just feel bad for these guys here. I appreciate your compassion for others, but systemic racism isn't reserved for urban areas and city cops. Old ways run deep in rural communities. It doesn't matter what color the protesters in your area are. We're in this fight together. I stay in a rural community and I'm not a stranger to what you are seeing. DM me if you want to discuss further. I work in a prison. I'm surrounded by racists. I'm surrounded by people calling for the US military to open fire on American citizens. I'm fairly certain I've heard the N-word thrown around more times in the last 2 weeks than I have in my entire life. Just graduated the academy very recently. So great timing as always. I joined to help people, but people hate me a lot more now, so it's interesting. I work for a good department that's on top of things, but change and reform can be a good thing, or bad if it's done just for approval ratings of politicians. Mostly I'm tired. Trying to learn everything but not being able to escape from it. It's everything going on. The constant all cops are bastards is weird. I don't think I'm a bastard, but who does? You have a different perspective on certain things, but obviously excessive use of force is disgusting. I have yet to see overt racism, but knowing it exists and to be vigilant that it can cloud your judgment if you're not careful is a valuable reminder. The qualified immunity thing is kinda terrifying. We're already at risk being civilly liable for egregious mistakes, but being civilly liable for anything someone doesn't like, parts of the job are going to make people mad. We respond to the worst time of people's lives and people hate us. I think it's too big of a risk to be in the profession if that happens. Also, don't defund police departments. You'll get worse candidates and it'll be just like No Child Left Behind. I'm new, so what the hell do I know though? Cops are people too. Stay strong. My buddy is a cop. He is black and white. He posted how disheartening it was to see his family posting how they wish death to all cops and things like that. Nothing has changed for me or my department. No protests or riots that I'm aware of. Only thing abnormal these past 2 weeks are the amount of S and attempted S. Usually that spike in S happen around the holidays. But the pandemic is keeping people from getting treatment and they're left alone with their own thoughts for too long. Uncle is an officer in a major inner city area and has said that he is working at least 100 hours a week at present time. My brother is a sheriff's deputy in a mostly rural area. Last week he pulled over a black man for a broken tail light. He said the man seemed nervous, so he asked, "Is everything okay?" The man said he was afraid, that he had heard so many stories of violence and thought white officers would hate him. My brother ended up spending half an hour sitting and talking with him. The hardest part of all of this is that no matter how many bad apples show up or what institutional problems need fixed, the good officers are just trying to take care of people. The world needs change, but we can't forget the struggles we put on all the men and women still working for our communities. Detective here who works sexual offenses. I deal with rape victims and identifying their offenders. The real bad stuff. I'm not on the front line and not in the USA, but still feeling it. Still showing up to work every day and doing my job as best as I can. Cop here. It's horrible. I've been in this job for a long time. It's always been the hardest job, no one likes you. But now it's depressing. I feel depressed all the time these days. In 1 week I went to 9 protests and riots in large cities. I expected to be called a racist and all that. But every day there were people praying for my kids to die in a fire and rhetoric like that. Every day, all day, for 10 hours. Stand there, can't talk, just get called names. Get spit on. Bottle of urine thrown at me. Cops getting murdered. Everyone hates me. It's fucking depressing. I can't imagine anyone wanting to be a police officer now. Like, who is that person? Get ready for a life of divorce, heart problems, a 10-year lower life expectancy, a rate triple the average, and now everyone hates you too. That's what the office is like. Depression, fear and anxiety. I'm a Leo in the largest department in the US. I can say that everyone is frustrated and tired. By this point mostly tired. Many of us have not had a day off for over a week. Working 12-16 hours. The daily harassment and vulgar behavior we endure during normal times has been dialed to 11. We get blamed for absolutely everything. Curfew in effect, but if we enforce it we are preventing a peaceful protest. Looters stealing everything, but if we stop them we are brutalizing protesters. Reform is one thing. Defunding is another. You get what you pay for. Do we want to pay for an educated, well-trained, and empathic police force? Sure. But this isn't Disneyland. A well-educated person would never agree to daily humiliation and degradation for the same salary as a Starbucks employee. A well-trained cop would be doing many of the same things they are doing now. Think about that one for a second. As for empathy, we are police officers, not social workers, mental health specialists, homeless outreach, priests, community planners. We deal with people at the lowest moments of their lives and try to bring any amount of closure or healing we can. And here we have the truth. For every one scumbag piece of shit human that made it through a psychological exam and into a police department, there are 10,000 officers that joined to fight back the jungle as hard as they can. To uphold the rule of law. No matter what they or the citizens feel about that law. We aren't heroes. We aren't murderers. We are humans doing an impossible job the best we can. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.